Hello there, everybody. I'm mrgameandpie, and welcome back to Touhou Easy Mode. Today, we're taking on Touhou 13, and oh man, we got a cast of playable characters here. And today, I'm going to be playing as Sanae once again. Yeah, there is a new playable character in this game, at least, you know, from what we've seen so far, starting at 10. Yomu Kampaku, I'm even remotely saying that right. Yeah, she was one of the bosses from the 7th game. The Stage 5 boss, to be precise. Much like how Sanae here was the Stage 5 boss of Touhou 10. The first game that I played in this series. But, yeah, in this game, there's spirits doing all sorts of inappropriate things all over the place. And, well, we gotta figure out what the hamster's going on about that. Now, Touhou 7 is relevant in this regard because, yeah, it's one of the games where spirits were also doing kind of ridiculous things. So, you know, that's why Yomu, a half-ghost, or perhaps half-phantom, swordswoman, is a playable character here, alongside the fact that she's been a playable character in several other games. Both the shooter games and the fighting games, for that matter. Alright, but yeah, the main mechanic of this game, well, there's a couple new mechanics. One is that every character has multiple shot types available to them at all times. Unlike in previous games where you select your shot type at the very beginning and then just keep going at it for the rest of the game, here, your shot type will change depending on whether you're focused or unfocused or not. Alright, and here we have Yuko, and she was the final boss of Touhou 7, so that's neat. Now she's a first boss. Got quite the demotion there. Alright, Yuko is notably very difficult to work with and for. Yomu manages to work for her, but she just sort of blindly accepts what Yuko says because it's so difficult to comprehend her instructions, apparently. But yeah, Yuko is a ghost, and she has control over ghosts, including ghosts that are still inhabiting people. As in people that are alive. But, yeah, so she was really the instigator of the 7th game, and she's been a regular occurrence throughout the series since then. Although, like most individuals, once 10 came around and, kind of acted as a very soft reboot, she, stopped appearing for a little while before finally showing up again. Alright. But hey, let's talk about some other special mechanics for this game. So, bombs and lives are back again, and this time you might notice up in our section where we see our bombs and lives, that it takes 8 life pieces and 8 bomb pieces to make a single one of them. And yeah, the bomb pieces and the life pieces are actually green and red spirits now, and they're going to be a little bit more common than they usually are. Though I still have difficulties getting enough life pieces to fill out your entire life meter because, yeah, it's, while they are more common, they don't seem to be that common. And while bombs will stay at 8 pieces per bomb, lives will go up a piece every time you get another life past a certain level. So, like, at some point it's gonna be like, oh man, you gotta get 12 life pieces to get a single life. And that's kind of a mess. So let's talk about the other types of spirits that these enemies are dropping. You know, we've already mentioned the red and green spirits that give you lives and bombs, but there's also these blue and gray spirits. They don't give you bombs or lives. The blue spirits are what increases your points. They increase how many points each drop gives. And gray spirits will fill up the meter in the bottom left corner right there, which is currently filled. that meter allows you to go into spirit mode, wherein you are temporarily intangible and are capable of firing off a massive wave of attacks. So, yeah, and you can activate it anytime that even a single one of those little spirit balls is filled up. But the more you have filled up, the more, the longer the spirit mode will last. Thus giving you, oh, then there's spirit mode. You can manually activate spirit mode, or spirit mode will automatically activate should you get hit and have some of the spirit meters available. Alright. I didn't want to use a life that early, that's rather unfortunate. Yeah, they seem to be rather stingy with giving you extra lives in this game. I think I've only ever managed to get maybe 2 at most. So being rather conservative with your life usage and quick to use your spirit mode and bombs is a good idea, because, you know, alongside your bombs you do have spirit mode to become invulnerable, so you have extra invulnerability chances in this game in that regard. So don't be afraid to use them, like I typically am. Alright. Yeah, Sanae seems like she's really good in this game for some reason. I actually managed to 1cc this game on my very first try, on easy mode of course, while playing as her. Meanwhile, the only other character that I've really given a fair shake at is Yomu, and she is very difficult to play as. She has a very awkward playstyle, because she uses a sword. And so whenever she enters focus mode, she charges up a sword attack that is, of course, fairly close range. Alright, so this is Kyoko Kasodani. And, yeah, she's one of the Buddhist monks. She's a new recruit. The Buddhists from the previous game have set up their own little, temple. And, yep, she works at it. Alright, but yeah, she is a Yamebiko, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. And so she has the ability to reflect sound, particularly. And as a result, you know, a lot of her bullet patterns will involve reflection in some way or another, them bouncing around on walls and such. Alright, almost have another full spirit mode. As bosses take damage, they will drop the little blue spirit orbs. So, yeah, if you can manage to stand next to a boss, then you can get quite the point multiplier from that. Given that, as previously mentioned, Yomu uses a short-range sword attack, it's often best for her to be up close to a boss, and thus gain a lot of points in the process. Sanae, however, doesn't really need to. Most of her attacks are spread shots of some variety. And as a result, not only can she be far back from an opponent, but she can also be off to the side and such, and still attack them with relative ease. There we go. Also, apparently, people consider Kyoko here to be like a dog. Those do look kind of like dog ears. Alright, off to the Buddhist monk temple's cemetery, I suppose. Oh good, we have full spirit mode, so we can just become invulnerable whenever we want. Yeah, well, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the characters that appear in this game. What I am a fan of in this game is the music. It has some absolutely fantastic tracks. I consider this game's music to be some of the best in the series, honestly. And that's saying something because the Touhou series is known to have good music. Alright, there we go. Finally at full power. That death from earlier was kind of a problem. Oh. These sections are kind of annoying because they'll put enemies that have your bomb and life pieces that have a lot of health all over together, and they'll take a bunch of hits and they'll fire off a bunch of bullets, making it difficult to get the rather rare life and bomb pieces that you kind of need to survive. You know, just a little bit. Ah, now here's a familiar face. It's Kogasa from the previous game. Alright, so yeah, even though Kogasa wasn't actually part of the Buddhist group, she's still living in their backyard, or cemetery, I guess. She is a yokai that is meant to surprise people, so existing in a cemetery seems like an appropriate location to do that from. Well, for a certain definition of appropriate, anyway. There we go. Alright, so yeah, as you can see on our life meter over there, now it's going to take 10 life pieces to make an entire life, as opposed to the 8 that it started out as. Oh my goodness, look at all these spirits all over the place. Getting obliterationated. Yeah, whenever I said that different characters had different shot types depending on whether you're focused or not, Sanae is honestly the worst example of that. Her focused shot type and her unfocused shot type look basically the same, but slightly repositioned, like, well, like they typically do in most of the games. But a better example would be Rimu, who has her homing shots unfocused and her needles when focused. Or Marissa, who has her lasers in one focus and like another shot type in a different one. It's totally different. Or Yomu, who has her charge attack whenever focusing. Alright, and here we have a zombie. Yep, that's right, we're gonna fight a zombie. Although this is a Japanese zombie, so it's a little bit different than your typical American zombie, but still. I don't really see Sanae as one of those zombie survival enthusiast individuals. But, you know, who knows? Alright. But yeah, the thing about this boss battle is that, first of all, we're fighting a zombie, so she's pretty durable. A lot of her spell cards will last a while in that regard. But she can also typically absorb the spirits of that, you know, enemies drop to regain her health. As such, whenever there are enemies firing off various bullets in that previous spell card, if I tried to defeat those spirits, it would stop the bullets from coming in. But what it would also do is it would heal our opponent. Having a spread shot here is very convenient because you don't even have to be in the line of fire of all these bullets. It's a lot of bullets. Alright, but there's one spell card that I don't think I've ever managed to capture in this battle, because it's a very revival-heavy spell card on her part, making it very difficult to do enough damage to beat her. Maybe if I was playing as Marissa, who has a very high damage output. But yeah, it's the last attack that she has, so we still gotta get through all these knives? I think these are knives that she's shooting at us. Ah, hamsters. Well. Alright, well here's this. So she's firing off a bunch of bullets, and then some lasers, and then she's got these spirits that she'll heal herself with. If you can grab the spirits, you can actually prevent her from healing. But that's kind of awkward to do, considering that there's a bunch of bullets and the like. Yeah, see, I'm able to prevent some of her healing, but I don't think it's enough. Oh, it was! Cool! I actually got that spell card for once. Ah, yeah, get that eternal sleep. That 24-hour sleep cycle. That's the goal right there. Alright, so yeah, whenever I said that this game has some of the best music, this level. Oh, man. I believe this song is called Desire Drive. And it is fantastic. Go, there's another bomb piece for me. I have actually managed to max out the bomb meter before, so that's nice. It's really the life meter that's the problem here. Okay, there we go. Back to full power again. Nope. Oh boy, this gets intense. Well, I think I got a life piece, but I missed out on a bomb piece back there. Alright, so here's our mid-boss. We'll talk more about her later, though, because she's also the boss of the area. What a surprise! Alright, there we go. There's an extra life for me. Yes, on top of enemies dropping the life pieces, the life spirits even, you know, the bosses and mid-bosses typically drop them too, so that's good. Alright, so for this, whenever there's a bunch of spirits coming on all over the place, with Sanae it's best to just sort of sit in the middle and let your spread shots take care of everything. Look at that. None of the bullets are actually coming after me. Ah, yeah, and that's a ton of spirit energy right there. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I want to be able to get my life pieces and bomb pieces effectively. Alright, so here we have a wicked hermit. She's, yep, as a Taoist hermit, she basically has eternal life. But, the way that she got her eternal life here is, well, immoral to one of the highest degrees. I'm not gonna go into the details about it, but let's just say, out of all the Touhou characters, which typically have a more gray moral alignment, she's, yeah, she's the most immoral of them all. Well, maybe not the most immoral of them all, but a strong contender for such. And I mean, right here, we can already see she's got some necromancy going on. Which, that's never a good sign. She's the one that made our zombie buddy here, well, a zombie. Oh. But, yeah, so basically our zombie opponent will be acting as a meat shield that will fly around and try to block your shots from hitting our main opponent. Please ignore the fact that I can't remember anybody's name in this game. Oh. Alright. Of course, you can kill your zombie opponent, but, yeah, she comes back to life pretty quickly. And when she does so, it typically results in a big explosion of bullets. Also, this song, another really fantastic one. Just, man, this is one of the best songs of the series. I love it. Alright, but, Yeah, for some reason, these duos really like knives. One's got big knives, one's got small knives, but man, oh man, knives are everywhere. I guess you could say that it's knife to meet them. Oh. Alright. I believe this is our final spell card, and it's not too bad. One element is the fact that, well, she's not using the zombie as a body shield anymore. She's basically just sitting in her place, and the zombie's floating around back there. There's curvy lasers, but they're not super curvy, so of course I managed to get hit by one anyway. Alright, we're nearing the end here. So yes, somebody is going to get revived. Which, yeah, that's probably not all that great. Typically, dead people coming back to life isn't the best of scenarios. Alright. Oh yeah, this level's gonna have like a ton of bomb pieces and life pieces and stuff out of all these fairies here. Unfortunately, with all the bullets everywhere, it makes it a little bit difficult to actually grab any of them. There we go, I got a couple at least. Yeah, there's these yin-yang enemies that are trying to fire lasers all over the gosh darn place. Like, geez. Chilled out with the lasers, gang. Okay. Fortunately, you don't have to perfectly touch a spirit to be able to collect it. You can just be slightly nearby. That can work. Alright, so here we have another enemy, and she's a ghost. We'll have more to say about her later, even though she's not necessarily the boss of this area. Though she is associated with lightning, that's something to know. I feel like she doesn't normally take that long to beat. Anyway. Yeah, as you can see, it's going to take 12 life pieces to get another life now. It's really unfortunate that I died earlier. Oh. This is inconvenient. There we go. But yeah, all of a sudden all these spirits circling around all over the place. Good thing I have spread shots to manipulate. Oh! That almost spawned right on top of me. That would have been real bad. Alright, here we go. Even more chances for bombs and lives. I'll go ahead and grab those at least. I only need one more life piece. Those were probably life pieces over on the other side, but I didn't get a single one. Alright, so this is Futo. She's appeared in quite a few games since her original appearance here. It seems like she's pretty popular, though honestly, she's one instance of me not understanding why a character is particularly popular. She's alright, she just doesn't seem as interesting as most Touhou characters out there. Either way, she's a Taoist and she's just been revived! Thus, she has sort of a classical way of speaking, we'll say. She's pretty mobile on that boat of hers here. But fortunately, with Sanae's speed and her spread shots, we're able to get a pretty solid number of hits as she moves across. You know, this theme is okay. I'm not really that big a fan of it. And the remixes that it's had in the various fighting games that she's appeared in has been okay. I'm not really a big fan of that one either. Futo is just okay. Yep, that's about it. Nothing about it really stands out to me, so it's a little bit surprising to me that she's managed to appear in quite a few games after this one. There we go, finally get an extra life. I mean, these bullet patterns here are alright. They look pretty cool. So one thing about this game is that it feels like it's notably quite a bit easier than the others. I already mentioned how I managed to 1cc the game on my very first time playing it. And yeah, whenever I played normal mode, while I couldn't quite get through the entire game without a game over, it didn't feel especially more difficult than easy mode did. Only a little bit tougher. It's kind of an odd scenario. Maybe it's just because, you know, the first games that I played were 11 and 12. Well, okay, it was 12, 10, and then 11. With 11 and 12 being considered some of the hardest games in the series, maybe that just gave me a bunch of, like, training, I guess, in that regard, to make some of the other games a little bit easier than they might normally be. Still, though, I feel like completing the game 1cc on your very first try, whenever you're not that great at these types of games, is indicative of an easier difficulty level than normal. Alright, well, it looks like she wasn't the only person being resurrected tonight. Here we are, gang. The final stage. So yeah, this section is kind of cool. There's these big fairies that are leading these spirits around, and by defeating the big fairies, it destroys the entire line of spirits. So that's neat. Yeah, we're almost to the end here. It's been a pretty quick adventure, like, well, all of these have been, honestly. Yes, who is it that's being revived that could be so important so as to attract all these spirits to this location? Death and ghosts have definitely been a thematic of this game, given that we're collecting them and the fact that, you know, it's all about dead people being revived and such. Perhaps it'll have something to do with that. I guess there's also the fact that one of our potential playable characters is a half-phantom herself. Oh, here we go. Here's some green. Oh, this is a little bit awkward here. Ah, hamsters. Well, that was unfortunate. Now we only have one life going into the final boss. Prince Shotoku. So yep, this is Prince Shotoku. an actual person being revived. And of course, being a prince, the original person was a guy, so that means that Miko here is actually a trans woman. And the green ghost that we fought as a mid-boss in the previous stage, that was Prince Xiaotoku's wife. So, well, one of them, anyway. So basically, Miko is a trans lesbian. It is confirmed. Touhou is the most progressive video game series. Alright. But, yeah, honestly, Miko has a pretty cool design, a pretty cool theme, and we're fighting her for essentially no reason. Even Miko said back there that, there's not really a reason for us to fight. Just, Sanae doesn't want to come back empty-handed, I guess. But yes, Miko is something of a mind reader, able to hear, people's internal desires and the like. So that's pretty cool. Though it doesn't seem like it really plays into her various, spell cards and attacks to any particular extent. These stars are kind of annoying to dodge because they're blue on a blue background, and they kind of get lost in my options as well. Those things that are firing my extra shots, that is. Alright, now this is a pretty cool spell card. Miko brings in her allies to help her fight. And yeah, they also have their own little bits of dialogue as they're fighting you. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, I did actually manage to get an extra life though, so that's good. Wow, still not done. There we go, that's it. Well, I better get ready to bomb whenever, you know, push comes to shove. There we go, there's that. Oh yeah, it's this attack. This attack is something. The bullets start out intangible, and then they become tangible. Doesn't seem especially dangerous. I don't really had trouble dodging that one. Alright, oh man, now this is a cool looking one. It's not too difficult to dodge, but I mean, it's pretty. With a veritable rainbow of bullets being launched at you. Though, I mean, actually, it's just red, blue, yellow, and green. So, I mean, it's not a full rainbow. Kind of missing the purple and orange in there, but it's close enough. Alright, now this card is a little bit intense. You got lots of bullets coming out of lasers. It reminds me of Shou's bullet patterns in some respects. But no, this doesn't come from the Jeweled Pagoda. This comes from, well, I don't know if it specifically comes from anything. Not every spell card needs some theoretical source to it. Yeah, this one is nearly over. There we go. Now it's entirely over. Alright, Falling Stars on Divine Spirit Mausoleum. I believe this is the last spell card in the game. Given now how slowly her health is draining, that seems about accurate. That means we gotta dodge it for a long time. So yeah, at various intervals, Miko will make all the bullets on screen stop and then home in on you. But if you also get next to a bullet, well, the same will happen. So try to not even get close to the bullets as they're falling. That can be quite dangerous. You know what, let's go ahead and do this. Get some solid damage in there. There we go. Uh-oh. Things are getting pretty crowded now. Oh, and I did it! Never even lost a life. Oh, but I guess using spirit mode counts as bonus failed. Oh well. Well, gang, that's it. And this is actually the first game where we're seeing a legitimate ending to the game. Yeah, in Touhou's 10, 11, and 12, you could only get a legitimate ending of the game on normal mode or higher without ever using a continue. And of course, since I'm playing on easy mode, I didn't qualify for that. But now I get to see the credits. Yeah, so yeah, Touhou 13, a bit of an easier entry in the series as a whole. But I still have fun with it. It's still pretty cool. I'm just not as big a fan of the characters in this game as usual. Even if this game does have some fantastic music. Absolutely wonderful. But it's also the last in this little line of continuity. 10 brought Kaneko to Jinsokyo. 11 had Kaneko give Utsuo the power of the Agatarasu, instigating the events of that game. Utsuo creating the geyser in 11 resulted in the Buddhist boat being released from the underground, and then the Buddhists building their temple on top of the Taoist Mausoleum caused the events of this game to happen. But, yeah, that's about it for continuity at this point. So yep, with that said, I'm mrgameandpie, and I'll see y'all next time for Touhou 14. See you then.